Welcome to Taxidermy Truths, where we discuss the ins and outs of not only the taxidermy process, but the influences on the hunting community as a whole. With over 25 years in the wildlife and taxidermy industry, I host open conversations with artists, experts, and industry giants. From sustainable utilization to shipping rates, we dig into the reality of the experience after the safari and hear real stories worth remembering. Hi there, my name is Douglas Cowcroft and welcome to Taxidermy Truths. Here's an interesting one. Is it more cost effective to buy a house that you get an incredible deal for, but you're going to have to do serious renovations to give that property its value and make it last? Or, whilst shopping for that family home for you, your kids, that safe place, with your hard-earned money, are you not in a better position looking for a home that is established? The foundations are strong. It's in a good area. And therefore, your starting point of value in your investment is already higher. The answer is pretty obvious. Buy in a better area where the foundations are strong. Because even if you change the property somewhat and add to it in time, because it started the correct way and the foundations are right and the technologies in that home are in place, you essentially save yourself the time, effort, and very importantly, the money. Consider the money you lose by having to throw money into a property where there are underlying faults and issues. Now let's apply that to taxidermy. In South Africa, taxidermy has grown as an industry over the last 25 years. I remember when I started, I was very much the young kid on the block. I still think I am. And the prices were fairly similar throughout all the taxidermists. I can remember doing a Blue Book study, accumulating all these price lists, and then working out actual cost of producing a good taxidermy piece. When you start a business, obviously, in most cases, the funding is tight. I remember in my case, and I've said this many times, I didn't eat beans on toast. I had beans or toast. There wasn't enough money for both. So the budget was tight. So I did what I had to produce great quality work and still maintain a competitive price in the current market. My business strategy was to start the business with my pricing in the top 30% of the pricing tier. It worked well. But in South Africa, we have something in our favor: the Forex exchange rates. If you look at the exchange rate today, 2024, compared to what it was when I started, it's a variance of 6 Rand to the dollar to what is almost 18 Rand 50 to the dollar. That's a radical growth. As a result, I haven't had to increase my prices in my business by very much in the last 10 to 12 years. The prices that we charge customers for taxidermy from around the world has remained fairly constant. But with constant pricing, elevated exchange rate, we've also had incredible inflation. That inflation has pushed the cost of materials up and up and up. It's pushed the cost of fuel up and up and up. So to merely bring the work into the business before you've started, there's an outlay of funds to get that work to site, because I've always believed, It's an add value service the taxidermist should provide to the hunting outfitter. So you've got constant pricing, elevated exchange rate, and a rapid growth in inflation. The cost of doing business throughout increases. The cost of labor increases. And whilst it's believed that labor is cheap in South Africa, it is less when you compare it to the United States or to Europe. Absolutely. But the expectation is that we charge less because, being a third world country, we should be able to produce world-class taxidermy at average day rates. So, back to the housing equation. Good area, good foundations, or not such a good area, dodgy foundations, but a good deal. And that's where we find the market in South Africa at the moment. Taxidermy cost has changed. The cost of doing business has changed, and the cost of producing an authentic, realistic, and anatomically correct animal that gets appreciated by wildlife enthusiasts all over the world, the cost of producing that is now higher than ever. And the problem comes that once you've invested hard-earned money on an international safari, you've traveled, hypothetically, from the US, its flights, time away from family, hard-earned income, and that's the money left over after you've brought groceries, bread, milk, and paid for school fees. This is the money we hold on to the tightest. That's the money you spend on an experience. The money you've spent on this experience cannot be retrieved. This is not something you can return. So, when it comes to taxidermy, you have one chance to get it right. Now, we've all probably seen on social media taxidermy gone wrong. That cat with the funky eyes and the odd ears, and these mounts that could scare your children. But that taxidermy gone wrong was taxidermy invested in by a hunter. It's been discarded because they can't look at it with pride. It doesn't bring back the memory. It brings back the bitter taste that they got a great deal, but the deal had a fragile, rough, hidden, faulty foundation. So, the cost of taxidermy to the hunter is very, very important. Now, the business model says you charge for labor, product, and there must be profit. Profit is important. It's important in South Africa because there are so many variables that if you don't create profit in a business, your business is either going one of two ways. It's going up or it's going down. If it's going down, it's just a matter of time before it can't go any lower. So, while comparing the Blue Book in 2024 and the Blue Book in 2004, 20 years ago, one thing stuck out. There are three ways of structuring what we offer to a client as a businessman. You've got price, product, and service. Those three. If you've got a great product and great service, there must be a price attached to it. Because how else could you develop the correct product, the mannequins? How could you employ the correct artists and the service personnel and make sure that the legal team that you have in the business ensures that the permitting is done correctly so your animals, your investment is safe. So by comparing those three factors, if you don't have a great product and your service is average, your price is all that's left. So the difference between 2000 and 2024 that we found is there were a lot of new companies that have come into the market. I love competition. I believe more people in a market is good for the industry. But I believe we should all strive to compete with one another for business using product, as in quality, and service, the experience we give to the client. By using price, because you don't have a quality product and you don't have a quality service, when you bring price into the factor, into the equation, it doesn't leave that business enough profit to sustain and grow and give the valued customer value for money. There's always a line between fair and ripping people off. I couldn't agree more. But I have noticed that where we started charging $150 possibly for a dip and pack of an eland, our prices haven't changed. We've utilized the exchange rate to cover the differences. But we have found a lot of new companies in the industry have come in at lower price ranges, which has therefore left some companies seemingly more expensive. So the cost of taxidermy to the hunter comes in that progressive companies that are changing the way the job is done, doing better quality, improving the technology, it must come at a cost. And as a hunter, one would need to answer the question, do I invest in this experience that I cannot return, or do I go for the cheap deal? And there's a lot of cheap deals out there. I'm passionate about taxidermy. The animal is the canvas that we use to create beautiful memories. I have respect for any artist that has the ability and the patience to nurture the art of taxidermy and create these incredible pieces of art and respect the animals. The problem comes in when cheap prices, those deals, blind so many people. And when they finally get their animals back, it's a fraction of what they could remember. And the experience is tainted forever. This is not to justify high prices. This is merely to make it clear that the future of taxidermy and quality art rests in the hands of companies who actually know the cost of producing beautiful work. And those companies that invest into the industry as a whole to improve the standard. In South Africa, we were often considered the lesser taxidermists globally. We didn't have the technology. In 2024, we have the technology. We have the passion. We have the experience. We have wonderful artisans and artists that we can bring into business to create amazing works of art. They do come at a cost. The better the quality, the higher the cost. It's the same principle no matter what you do. Good quality home, higher price. Good quality car, higher price. Good quality nutrition. Big Mac and chips. I reckon you pick it up for about $12. If you went to a health store and bought a healthy sandwich and a salad, you'd probably be in for $25. You need to weigh it up. Which one's going to fuel your engine as an athlete best? Me, I'm going to spend the $25 because I know that I'm going to get more out of my investment. While the $12 fast food meal is a quick fix, the quick fix doesn't last. In fact, it hinders. So in the marketplace today, please be aware that there are a lot of deals floating around. And when you see the deal, ask yourself the question: price, service, product. Which two is that company focusing on? And if they are not focusing on the product, which is going to be on your wall for many years, and they're not focusing on the service, which you rightly deserve after investing heavily into an incredible adventure. If they're not focusing on those two and they are merely focusing on price, I would send out a warning and say, please be careful, because those prices have a way of coming back and haunting you, just like those taxidermy gone wrong memes that often get sent around on social media. Thank you for watching. Today's chat about pricing is important because without hunters investing in South Africa and in Africa at large, our wildlife would not retain the value that it has. Let's retain the value. Look after the wonderful wildlife we have, and as artists, let's protect the canvas and the memories attached to it. Thank you for watching.